Every thought you have doesn't just sit in your head, it executes a command in your field. Your emotions are not abstract, they're code signals. And lately, most people are running corrupted scripts they never wrote. You've felt it. That sense that your focus is being dragged somewhere before you even choose it. That's not lack of discipline. That's an override. Your attention, your nervous system, your entire energetic field are responding to input streams that aren't yours. Think of your field as a command console, a living operating system. Every pulse of emotion, every image you hold, every micro-reaction sends an electrical instruction. Amplify this, suppress that, redirect charge here. But over time, external systems, algorithms, social tension, emotional contagion, learned how to input commands directly into that console. They don't need to convince you. They just need to stimulate your charge. Because once your charge is activated, your energy obeys the loudest signal, not the truest one. This is how your field gets hijacked, not through magic or conspiracy, but through consistent energetic patterning. The nervous system interprets repetition as truth, so the more you're bombarded by fear loops, urgency, comparison, outrage, the more your console adapts to those signals. You start mistaking reaction for intuition, exhaustion for effort, chaos for productivity. And here's the quiet part nobody explains. The hijack doesn't remove your power, it redirects it. Your field is still generating massive voltage. It's just being used to sustain someone else's signal. Reclaiming command isn't about protection, it's about precision. Because once you understand how to rewrite your own operating code, no system can run commands without your consent. Your energy field isn't mystical, it's electrical architecture. A constant feedback loop between your nervous system, your emotional charge, and the external frequencies around you. And just like any operating network, it can be hacked, not by force, but by resonance. Here's the hidden mechanism. Your field syncs with whatever pattern delivers the strongest emotional voltage. Emotion, current. When a signal enters your awareness that triggers strong emotion, anger, desire, fear, validation, your system automatically opens its ports. In that instant, your conscious filters are bypassed. The field stops checking truth and starts processing charge. That's how an outside pattern installs itself as if it were your own command. Imagine this like a shared operating system running multiple terminals. Each time you scroll, watch, argue, or even think in loops of unresolved emotion, you're allowing background programs to request access to your main command line. They can't control you directly, but they can occupy your bandwidth. And when your bandwidth is saturated with reactive charge, your original signal weakens. That's the real theft. Not your energy, but your coherence. Coherence is what makes command possible. It's the alignment of thought, emotion, and body impulse into a single stable signal. When coherence collapses, commands fragment. You say you want peace, but your field still emits unrest. You want clarity, but your nervous system is tuned to chaos. This dissonance is what allows hijacked signals to anchor deeper. Because the more fragmented your system becomes, the easier it is to inject pre-made commands that feel like your own instincts. Ever wonder why, after an argument or doom-scrolling session, your motivation crashes for hours? That's not fatigue, that's field distortion. The nervous system just executed hundreds of micro-commands responding to emotional spikes it didn't initiate. Each one drains voltage from your core directive, your authentic intent. To reclaim command, you first have to see that the field obeys frequency, not logic. No amount of willpower can override a system resonating with the wrong current. You can't think your way out, you must retune. And that retuning begins when you start detecting the moment your field opens its ports, that microsecond before emotional hijack. Catch it there, and the override collapses. Miss it, and you'll keep running code that isn't yours. Because the true hack isn't someone taking your energy, it's them convincing your field to run their signal as your truth. The biggest myth about energy hijack is that it happens through intent, that someone or something must consciously target you. False. Most hijacks happen through resonant confusion. Your system doesn't ask who sent it. It only asks how strong is the signal. If a thought, headline, or emotional loop carries higher voltage than your current state, your field syncs automatically. That's not weakness. That's physics. Here's what that looks like in real time. You wake up feeling steady, grounded, then you check your phone. Within minutes, you're pulled into outrage, comparison, or tension that didn't exist seconds ago. You didn't choose it. Your field registered a surge of emotional charge and matched it to stay coherent with the environment. That's how synchronization works. Your body wants harmony, even if the frequency is toxic. Now picture this scenario. You just had a tense argument. Hours later, you're alone, but the argument keeps replaying in your head. Every replay sends a new command. Recreate the field conditions of the conflict. Your body starts releasing the same chemicals. Your pulse shifts, your energy contracts. That loop feeds itself, and the longer you stay in it, the more that pattern overwrites your baseline. Eventually, it becomes your new normal. That's not emotional memory. That's a live program still running. You are literally burning energy maintaining an argument that's not even happening anymore. The myth says you need to clear or protect yourself from negative energy. But the truth is sharper. Protection doesn't fix corrupted code. Reprogramming does. Because if your console still treats emotional spikes as valid commands, you can't protect yourself from your own field. You must teach your system to differentiate between authentic voltage and synthetic charge. Authentic voltage feels expansive, directional. It moves you. Synthetic charge feels urgent, looping. It traps you. One opens command, the other overrides it. You can sense the difference instantly if you pause mid-reaction and observe whether your energy expands or contracts. That micro-detection is your firewall. This is where most people get trapped. They try to calm their thoughts while their body is still running high-voltage distortion. It's like trying to rewrite code while the system's overheating. You must regulate first, then command. Because until your charge stabilizes, every thought you type into the console just adds more noise to the network. Hijack ends the moment you stop reacting as data and start responding as source. Your nervous system is not just biological, it's the voltage regulator of your entire command field. Every pulse, every breath, every contraction determines whether your signal broadcasts clearly or distorts under load. When your nerves spike, your field scrambles. When your breath steadies, your command console realigns. That's how precise it is. Your entire energetic integrity hinges on the state of your body's electrical rhythm. Think of the nervous system as the grounding wire of your consciousness. It's what decides whether the energy you generate translates into power or noise. If your system's overcharged, even the purest intention will distort on output. That's why calm isn't weakness. It's signal fidelity. The clearer the current through your body, the cleaner the command that reaches reality. When your sympathetic system, fight, flight, or freeze, stays chronically active, your field goes into emergency broadcast mode. That state floods the circuit with static. You stop creating, you start defending. And the more you defend, the more energy you leak through hypervigilance and microtension. That's the hidden tax of anxiety. Constant energetic expenditure with zero forward transmission. Now, here's the paradox. The nervous system doesn't respond to thought. It responds to rhythm. You can't tell it to calm down. You must demonstrate calm through breath and motion, because breath is the manual override key. It's the code that resets the system's voltage and restores coherence to the field. Here's a 40-second recalibration practice. Simple, surgical, effective. Exhale fully through the mouth. Release the charge. Empty the lungs. Pause for 2 seconds. Feel the stillness after the discharge. Then inhale slowly through the nose, counting to 6. Imagine drawing clean current through the spine. Hold for 3 seconds. Let your field equalize. Exhale again, longer than the inhale, counting to 8. Repeat 5 rounds. By the end, your pulse synchronizes with your own command rhythm again. This resets the baseline voltage of your field. From there, your thoughts regain access to coherent transmission. You can now command reality without distortion. When your nervous system stabilizes, you become unreadable to hijacking frequencies. External programs can't sync because your baseline no longer fluctuates to match them. You broadcast from grounded authority, not from reaction. And that's when your field stops reflecting chaos and starts governing it. Because calm isn't a mood, it's command state. It's the energetic equivalent of holding your signal steady while storms pass through. And once your system learns that stability, emotion itself becomes your amplifier, not your enemy. Every emotion you feel is raw voltage waiting for instruction. It's not weakness, not noise. It's unshaped current. And the moment you stop judging emotion and start commanding it, that current turns into your most potent power source. Think of emotion as the weapon system inside your field. Anger, fear, grief, desire. Each one is a different frequency of charge. The world teaches you to suppress or release them randomly, but both waste power. Suppression locks voltage inside your system, creating static and burnout. Dumping emotion outward without direction disperses your field into chaos. The real mastery lies in conversion, transforming charge into signal. Take anger, for example. Most people either explode or implode under it. But if you pause before expression, if you channel that charge through breath, through body grounding, it compresses into focused current. That current is precision fuel. It sharpens your signal, strengthens your boundary, and amplifies your command output. You don't control emotion, you transmute it. Every feeling is a potential amplifier, but only if you maintain coherence while it surges. Imagine a thunderstorm running through a power grid. If the wiring is unstable, the whole system fries. But if the grounding is strong, the storm's voltage becomes usable energy. That's exactly what happens when you learn to regulate your emotions. The same frequency that once triggered you now powers your field. Here's the hidden function. Emotion shows you where your charge is stuck. Every surge points to an area where your signal wants to expand, but your old programming resists. That resistance is the friction that generates voltage. So instead of suppressing emotion, trace it. Ask, what command is this charge trying to execute? Usually it's a call to reclaim power where you once gave it away, to reassert control of your console. You can feel the difference instantly. When you let emotion run you, your energy scatters. When you ride it consciously, everything tightens. Sharper focus, deeper presence, clearer intention. That's emotional alchemy. The same sadness that once weakened you can become gravity that anchors you. The same fear that froze you can become precision awareness. It's all voltage, waiting for command. Your emotions aren't your enemy. They're your arsenal. But you have to hold the console steady as they surge, or they'll override the system again. That's why most people never access full power. They collapse during the charge phase. You, instead, can learn to ride it, to weaponize calm under fire. Once your emotional field stabilizes, the hijack attempts become obvious and relentless. Because systems built on your charge can't survive without your current. They need your attention, your reaction, your voltage. The moment you stop feeding them, you collapse their supply line, and that's when they start pulling harder, with distraction, guilt, outrage, or noise. Not to control you, but to reopen the ports you've just sealed. The hijack operates through feedback loops. Every system that demands constant engagement, social media, conflict cycles, toxic relationships, uses the same mechanic. Create a charge spike, sustain it, harvest coherence loss. They don't want peace, they want oscillation. Because every oscillation keeps you reactive, not directive. And reactivity is how they execute commands through you. Let's drop into a real scenario. You post something online, pure expression, no expectation. Then someone comments something sharp, dismissive, or mocking. Instantly, your nervous system flares. You feel it, heat in the chest, pulse quickening. That's your console receiving an external command. Defend identity now. The hijack doesn't need you to agree or disagree. It just needs you to engage. The moment you engage, your field opens and transmits voltage into their system. That's the energy trade most people never see. Not attention, but energetic bandwidth. Reclaiming command means interrupting the reflex. You don't ignore, you redirect. Instead of responding to the trigger, you return to your internal field and anchor the charge. Breathe into the pulse, feel the heat, hold it without narrative. In seconds, that raw energy converts from reactive current to neutral potential. That's how you break the feedback loop, by refusing to execute external code. Now the energy that would have powered someone else's agenda powers your signal again. Your command system starts rebuilding its original architecture, stable, clean, sovereign. And here's the strange shift that happens. The external noise doesn't stop, but it loses magnetism. It passes through your field like static around a grounded wire. No stick, no drag, no emotional tax. You're no longer programmable. This is what true protection feels like. Not shields or walls, but non-resonance. When your system stops matching the frequency of distortion, hijack attempts fail by design. You don't need to fight. You just stop broadcasting vulnerability. That's energetic sovereignty in motion. Silent, exact, untouchable. The field never stops communicating. But now, you're the only one issuing commands. Now that you've reclaimed the console, you need tools, not ideas, to rewrite the system. Because awareness alone, doesn't uninstall old code. You must reprogram the frequency patterns that govern your signal. These tools aren't rituals or theory. They're direct rewiring techniques built from the physics of charge and focus. 1. Breath code. Sync. Your breath is your programming language. Each inhale uploads new data. Each exhale deletes residual code. The key is synchronization, linking breath rhythm with intent command. Here's how. As you inhale, visualize your field expanding evenly in every direction. No effort, no force. As you exhale, see scattered energy collapsing back to center, forming a clear sphere around you. After 3 cycles, issue a simple internal directive. Stabilize my core frequency now. No emotion, no overthinking, just steady instruction. Do this for 2 minutes. Your field responds instantly to the pattern of coherence you demonstrate. 2. Charge reset protocol. Whenever you feel emotional overload, don't suppress or express. Discharge. Stand or sit upright. Exhale through the mouth sharply while dropping your shoulders. Then shake out your hands and legs lightly for 10 seconds. This releases residual microvoltage trapped in your musculature. When the current clears, place one hand on your sternum, one on your abdomen, and breathe slowly until your internal pulse evens out. Your field resets its rhythm based on that pulse. 3. Focus redirect energy. Follows command, but command follows focus. Every second of scattered attention divides your voltage. So, instead of multitasking, run a single beam focus cycle. Pick one object, idea, or task, and lock your sensory input on it for 90 seconds. Nothing else. If your mind drifts, gently pull the current back. You're training your field to obey your chosen coordinates rather than external interference. Within days, your command latency, the delay between intention and manifestation, shortens dramatically. 4. Field seal sequence. After any high-charge interaction, perform a closure scan. Visualize your field perimeter tightening, like a camera lens focusing. Say internally, command channel closed. Then breathe once through the nose, once through the mouth, and imagine your energy grid sealing in light. This isn't fantasy. It's the conscious act of regulating voltage boundaries. Your field learns from repetition. The more consistently you seal after charge exchanges, the less leakage you'll experience. These 4 methods form your energetic operating manual. Practical, physiological, precise. Do them daily until they become reflex, not routine. Because mastery isn't what you know, it's what your field repeats automatically. Once you start reprogramming your field, resistance appears. Not from outside, but from your own system. Every layer of distortion you've ever absorbed begins to surface for recalibration. And this is where most people break command. They mistake the purge for failure. But what's really happening is energetic defragmentation. Your field is expelling incompatible frequencies to rebuild a cleaner grid. There are 3 main traps during this stage: leak, overforce, and split signal. Leak happens when you regain voltage, but don't contain it. You'll notice it as random fatigue after breakthroughs, emotional hangovers, or sudden doubt. That's your system opening old exit routes where energy used to escape. To fix it, stop trying to stay high. Ground the surge instead. Walk barefoot, stretch slowly, or place your attention on your feet until you feel heat or pulse. Containment stabilizes power. Remember, every upgrade needs grounding, or it bleeds. Overforce is the opposite trap, trying to dominate your energy with willpower. This creates pressure, and pressure causes field distortion. When you push too hard to maintain focus, clarity, or vibration, your nervous system enters fight mode again, the very frequency that invited hijack in the first place. True command isn't aggression, it's precision under neutrality. You don't force the field, you instruct it. Like a conductor, not a soldier. If your body feels tense during any practice, stop. Reset breath, soften muscles, resume with less voltage. Force burns coherence faster than fear. Split signal is the subtlest trap, saying one command while broadcasting another. For example, saying you want peace while secretly seeking validation. Your words and field send conflicting data, and reality mirrors the confusion back. The fix is ruthless honesty. Every time you set an intention, scan your body. If there's contraction, there's contradiction. Realign the inner command before you execute the outer one. Only coherence creates response. Here's the paradox. The more powerful your signal becomes, the more attractive it is to unintegrated frequencies, people, systems, or memories that match old versions of you. They'll test your edges, not as punishment, but as calibration. Each test asks one question. Are you broadcasting from authority or reaction? Answer through presence, not defense, because energy doesn't lie, it reflects. And that's how you spot the ultimate trap, thinking you've arrived. Command isn't a destination, it's dynamic equilibrium, a constant dance between voltage and stability. Lose rhythm and the field reopens. Hold rhythm and even chaos becomes part of your structure. Command isn't proven in meditation, it's proven in motion, in the split second between stimulus and response, when life throws voltage straight at your nervous system. Integration begins when your daily movement becomes your training ground. Every breath, every word, every glance is feedback from your field, showing how stable your command truly is. Imagine walking through your day as a living calibration test. Morning traffic. Someone cuts you off. Old programming says react, spike, drain. But now you feel the surge and hold it. No suppression, just containment. That moment is a live transmission. Command holds under pressure. The world doesn't calm down when you do this, but your field stops matching chaos, and the environment starts syncing to your rhythm instead. Reality adjusts to your broadcast rate. Integration means your practices fuse into reflex. You don't need to remember to breathe. Breath automatically resets you. You don't need to protect your energy. Your coherence becomes natural defense. You walk through emotional turbulence like a ship slicing through waves, stable keel, dynamic flow. The waves are still there, but they can't steer you. In motion, awareness becomes kinetic. When someone speaks from anger, you feel their signal trying to anchor into yours. But your voltage no longer resonates. Their emotion meets your field, and instead of entanglement, it dissipates. You see the pattern, not the person. That's mastery, neutrality without disconnect. You can still engage, still care, still act, but the current flows through your structure, not into it. This is also when your perception sharpens. You start noticing micro-shifts in rooms, tension before words, clarity before decisions, static before manipulation. Your field starts predicting patterns milliseconds before they unfold. It's not intuition, it's advanced feedback. You're reading energy in real time, as naturally as breath. But integration brings a new temptation, the urge to prove your power, to test, to demonstrate, to use the field consciously. That's ego sneaking back as operator. True command has no performance, it just functions. Like electricity, it doesn't brag, it flows. When you reach that state, your baseline becomes self-correcting. Any distortion that enters gets dissolved automatically by coherence. You'll notice time feels slower, not because the world changed, but because your signal runs faster than external interference. You've overtaken the noise bandwidth. That's when motion becomes meditation. Every step, every choice, precise, fluid, awake. When your command field stabilizes, its influence expands automatically. Because energy doesn't stop at your skin, it permeates every structure that holds your identity, your finances, your relationships, your purpose. Each of these domains is an extension of your energetic architecture, and they all respond to the same principle. Coherence equals command. Let's start with money. Money is condensed attention, stored voltage. It gravitates toward coherence because coherence promises stability. That's why when your field is fragmented, fear of loss, shame, scarcity, your signal broadcasts instability, and opportunities slide past. But when your nervous system holds calm under financial uncertainty, the field reads it as capacity. Reality then routes flow toward you, because your system can contain charge without leaking. You stop chasing income and start magnetizing alignment. Projects, ideas, people that match your frequency bandwidth, that's energetic economy, power without hustle. Now, relationships. Every interaction is field exchange. Your charge meets theirs, forming a temporary shared frequency. If you enter from depletion, you attract extraction. If you enter from overflow, you radiate coherence that stabilizes others. You stop being emotionally readable, not because you're closed, but because your field transmits steady data. People either rise to meet that frequency or bounce off it. That's not coldness, that's energetic hygiene. You become the tuning fork instead of the echo. And purpose, the final domain. Purpose isn't a mission statement, it's the trajectory of your current. When your energy runs clean, it naturally organizes toward what creates maximum coherence in the collective field. That's why aligned purpose always feels electric. It's your system finding its highest voltage match in service. You don't search for purpose, you conduct it. Each action you take emits a signal. This frequency sustains reality. This one drains it. Follow the current that amplifies you without force. And you're operating as source, not seeker. Here's a scenario that ties it all together. You walk into a negotiation. Money, opportunity, tension in the air. Before words, fields collide. If you hold coherence, their nervous system subconsciously entrained to yours. Breathing slows, tone softens, clarity rises. You just rewired the entire dynamic without saying a thing. That's energetic leadership, commanding frequency, not dominance. And once you start influencing domains like this, you realize power isn't about control. It's about calibration, holding the signal so steady that the world reconfigures around it. Energetic sovereignty isn't isolation. It's total integration without contamination. It's when every signal passing through you gets processed, purified, and re-emitted as your own command frequency. Nothing hijacks, nothing sticks. You become a closed-loop power system, generating, recycling, and refining your own current. Sovereignty begins when reaction dies, when no external charge, no narrative, no emotional bait can drag your field off its axis. You might still feel everything: anger, desire, sorrow, but none of it overrides your signal, because now every emotion roots through your command core before expressing. That's self-governance, not suppression, but filtration. Your system no longer leaks voltage to old identities, validations, or fears. It runs clean. In this state, you don't protect your energy anymore. Protection implies danger. You operate instead from neutrality, a frequency that nothing parasitic can attach to because it offers no resonance match. Low signals pass right through you. Manipulation loses entry points. You stop being readable to external systems that feed on volatility. And here's what sovereignty really looks like. You walk into chaos and remain unaltered. You absorb nothing you don't choose. You transmit clarity that reorganizes disorder without argument. That's not spiritual, that's physics. Stable frequencies reorganize unstable ones by default. In this phase, your consciousness stops identifying as a person with energy and starts experiencing itself as energy and form. That shift changes everything. You stop defending, you direct. You stop reacting, you regulate. You stop chasing outcomes, you command states. Your presence itself becomes instruction to the field around you. The unhackable self doesn't need proof. It's not louder, stronger, or more armored. It's simply unresponsive to distortion. You can feel someone's intention, read their field, and decide silently, I do not execute that command. And your system obeys. That's energetic consent, the highest form of freedom. This is what the hijack never wanted you to discover, that your awareness is the source code and your attention is the compiler. Whatever you observe with full coherence becomes reorganized to match you. That's why the awakened field doesn't fight systems. It rewrites them through frequency dominance, quietly, efficiently, irreversibly. When sovereignty stabilizes, life stops feeling like survival and starts feeling like orchestration. Every choice, every encounter, every emotion becomes part of your frequency composition. You're no longer just existing in the grid. You are the grid. Picture it now, the console that once flickered under interference, glowing steady in your command. Every nerve calm, every breath precise. Your energy no longer scattered across invisible networks of distraction, fear, or doubt, but fully online, anchored inside your own grid. That's sovereignty embodied. You can feel it. That subtle hum in your chest when you're in full coherence. That's the frequency of authority. It doesn't shout, it directs. It moves reality with the gentlest pressure imaginable. Clarity. Because the field responds to stability faster than to power. And now your signal is stable enough to bend probability itself. From this point forward, every situation becomes a feedback panel. Your relationships mirror your calibration. Your finances mirror your coherence. Your emotional state mirrors your voltage discipline. Nothing's random anymore. Every glitch is a diagnostic. Every delay a recalibration request from the field. You read it all like code. You adjust, breathe, command. And reality obeys, not because it serves you, but because you've become readable to truth itself. You no longer fear being drained because nothing leaves your field without purpose. Energy flows through you like current through a superconductive wire. Zero resistance, zero waste. You're not trying to manifest. You're maintaining operating frequency, and manifestation is just system response. This is the end of the hijack, not through defense, but through precision. Because in the grand circuit of consciousness, power doesn't belong to the loudest frequency. It belongs to the most coherent one. So hold that image. You, standing in the middle of the storm, pulse steady, field clear, commanding the code of your own existence. The console is yours again. The signal is clean. Command restored. Have you ever felt that moment when chaos around you couldn't touch your calm anymore? Describe that shift in the comments. That's the moment your field came back online.